So as we begin laying on your back, maybe have the arms next to you, like next to your ribs, so you can really focus on the breathing laterally. And remember, some of you will really gel with having the hands on the body for a tactile cue, and some of you will be okay just having your arms off to the side and being aware of the rhythm of your breath. So don't make it with a lot of effort. If you feel more comfortable with your feet down on the ground to be a little more easeful on your low back, you may do so. If you feel better with your legs extended, you may also do that. And you could, remember, you always have permission to move. You do not have to be stuck in a pose that doesn't serve you. Take about 10 more rounds of breath. You can place your hands on one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Set an intention for your practice tonight. So it could be a goal, a mantra, sankalpa, an affirmation. Something you like to cultivate on your mat to take with you off of the mat. And then from there, why don't we grab a hold of like a yoga strap or a scarf or anything that you brought with you. And we'll start off with those hamstrings to help our low backs. So you choose your foot, pick your path. And I like having the strap around the ball of my foot, and then I can really reach the back of my heel up to the sky. So you do you, however much you need today. Remember that opposite foot can either be down onto the ground or it could be long. Just pay attention to any signals from your low back. And breathe. Notice any tension rising in shoulders or neck. See if you can let go. Or at the very least, easing. Being aware of your rhythm of your breath. And as we practice this idea of just allowing yourself to be, and that includes, any discomfort or feelings of uncomfortableness. Allow yourself to just be. Hopefully you're in a quiet area. And I'll definitely give you moments of quiet tonight. I want you to make sure that you have like space to be. Space to be. Take about 10 more rounds of breath. And then from there, you can open it up to the side. So if you'd like to have a little bit of movement, you can go out to the side and then exhale back up. Inhaling to the side, exhaling to coming back up, and remembering to keep the hips nice and level. So as you go off to the side, you're making sure that you're anchoring through pelvis and back. And then once you feel like, oh, I've had enough of the movement, I'm back to stillness, please. You can move the foot over. If you have a spare blanket or prop, like a pillow or a block, it can be underneath that thigh of the leg that's going wide. And spend a couple moments and play around with like internal and external rotation. You can kind of play around with, am I coming from the hip or am I coming from the foot? And what's the difference between supinating and pronating your foot, and how does that translate? If you're like feeling, what's going on in the chain? Or you can again allow yourself just to be. Where do you need to be today? In terms of letting go, allowing yourself to be without not looking for anything else. And on your exhale, you can slowly bring it up and over. So IT band stretch there. So your left foot can, if it's on the extended on the floor, bring it in so that way you can cross and really feel that stretch along the side of the leg. And being present, if you need to back off, if you need to go further. And take about 10 more rounds of breath. Being present with sensation, being present with your intention. And then from there, once you've made that 10 rounds of breath, you can cross your right ankle over the left thigh and give it a nice little hug for figure 4 stretch. And see if you can stay with the breath. If the mind wanders, goes over the day, see if you can practice that tool of concentration and focus, of coming back to the breath, giving the busy mind a break, which is a very hard practice. take note of like sensation changing. Like how did it feel when you started this shape, and how is it changing? Is it becoming less intense, more intense? Take about 10 more rounds of breath. And then from there, we'll go into our twist. So some of us will be okay with keeping it kind of like in a figure 4 stretch and moving those legs over to the side, kind of like a pinwheel, and then gazing over our opposite shoulder. Others of you with, SI stuff going on, there's a couple of you, have the legs a little bit more parallel, hips level. I saw somebody grab a pillow, a pillow in between the knees and ankles. Could be another way to keep the hips more uniform and balanced and symmetrical. And then always, if there's a lot of discomfort, I want you to give yourself permission to get out. There's no need to create more suffering. Let's create more ease. So this is an opportunity again to really practice that lateral breath into the ribs. Can you get more space into the ribs? Don't force any big breath. Like if it feels good to take a deep breath, go for it. But if you notice you don't have the capacity or the room, don't be hard on yourself, please. And being on that side of the hip again, notice how it may feel different than being in a figure 4 stretch versus this stretch. How does it feel on the outside of the hip, or the glutes? Or do you feel it more in the shoulders and the neck? Or do you feel it more in the back? There's all sorts of places where sensation can be present for you. Take about 10 more rounds of breath. When you feel ready, you can use your exhale to come back into the center. Take a moment to just be in the center. So having the knees fall in towards one another could be a nice place to balance out. Some of you might enjoy hugging the knees into the belly. Some of you might like to do more of like a happy baby to even out the hips, or some of you might like to just continue with the knees in. So options here, stay symmetrical on the floor. You can use your exhale, draw knees in, kind of like your upside down flipped beetle. Or you can take a happy baby. Something symmetrical. And take about 10 rounds of breath. You also might be surprised what shape which your body is kind of more inclined or really feels happy to do. All right, when you guys are ready for the other side, grab your strap or scarf or whatever tool you're using today. Strap is going to go around the ball of your foot. The other opposite foot can be grounded onto the ground, or it can be long depending on what's going on in the low back and any feedback or greater amount of ease you'd like in your body. You decide. And then from there, heels lifting to the sky, and you're finding your amount of tension you want in the back of the hamstrings. Just make sure that you're not feeling it behind the knee or up too high into the hip. I don't want you in the insertion points. I want you like more in the meat of the muscle in the back of the thigh. Scan the shoulders. Make sure it's not tensing up by holding the prop. You know, check the toes, the jaw. The body finds creative ways of finding places to store tension. Can you try to be present and let go, or create more ease? Continue to scan the body, being aware of the body. That gives us a lot of information about like how our mind is doing, how our emotions are doing. Our body tells us a lot if we listen and we're open. I filmed just a tiny 5-minute core video when I was home today, and I was watching the replay over, and I didn't feel like my shoulders were at my ears, but the video suggested differently. So it's amazing that we can go walking around with our shoulders to our ears and not notice it until we capture that mirror reflection of ourselves of oh, there's a lot of tension there. And take about 10-ish more rounds of breath. Getting to know yourself and your body, and allowing yourself to be. When you feel about even, the leg can go off to the side for some movement. So inhale to go off to the side, exhale brings it back in, keeping the hips as stable as possible as you inhale wide, exhale in. And of course, it's kind of natural to have a little bit of comparison and noting. Try not to judge or attach or place too much story. So once you feel like you've moved either an equal amount or enough on this side, that's when you can begin your hold. Go off to the side. Ooh, shaky leg on this side. And you can offer yourself either a prop to keep the leg up. I have my hand kind of holding up the thigh. It got really shaky over here. And being present to the experience. Checking in with your intention. What was the intention you gave yourself in the beginning of your practice today? Give yourself about 10 more rounds of breath on this side, as long as you feel about even. Checking in with your breath, making sure it's even and smooth. Letting the inhales flow into the exhales. When you're ready, you can exhale, cross it over the body, just ever so slightly so you can get into the IT band. So the bottom leg might be bent if it was extended. And crossing at the midline. Reaching the heel across the room to really get into the side of the leg. And we're not in the IT band quite as long as we're in the other stretches. So give yourself about maybe 10 more rounds of breath. Don't let me rush you guys though. I feel like I'm rushing this side a little bit. This side is not happy on me. When you feel like you've done 10 rounds of breath and you feel even, you'll slowly make your way into a figure 4 stretch. So that foot's going to cross over the opposite thigh. You can use an exhale to draw that thigh in, and we'll rest here. Being present with sensations in that hip and that outer glute. See how you're feeling, and allowing yourself to just be the shape. I have about 1 more minute in this shape. Try to enjoy quiet and stillness. Take about 5 more rounds of breath. rotation. You can let those legs fall over to the side, whether or not you're going to stay in that kind of pinwheel like twist, or whether you're going to find the knees match up, ankles match up. And breathe into those top ribs. Allow yourself to gain some space through the ribs. And you can gaze up the opposite shoulder. Take a few more rounds of breath. About 10 more, roughly 10 more to be another minute-ish. And when you feel about ready, you can stay on that side, but come more into a fetal position and rest there. The fetal position is quite nourishing.